And you're welcome to my banner. The ongoing power rationing exercise to most people has to do with the inconvenience of not getting electricity to do the things that they have to do on a daily basis, such as ironing their clothes, getting chilled water, or watching television. For businesses, though, especially those operating on a small scale, it means a lot of losses. My colleague Etonam Say tells the story of a 33-year-old Fatima. She's a cold store owner who's lost significant capital after 50,000 Ghana cedis worth of meats and fish went bad because she didn't have electricity for guess how many hours? 72.
Several reasons have been put forward to explain why the country is having to endure another energy crisis, which some have described as the worst ever. The reasons range from the low level of water in the Akosombo Dam, faulty generation units, as well as excessive waste of the power generated. As a result, customers of the electricity company now have to endure 24 hours straight without power.
It's a difficult situation, so educate people. They should help. As a country, I'm sure we'll pass over this headache.
But many customers of the power company explain the ECG a lot of the time does not follow its own schedule. This means businesses such as Fatima's have to pay dearly if they are unable to afford to get a standby power.
Oma inform me and say be a light never go off. It be 24 hours. Say be go off no crampananka was some my information say this very 1 month near the mama. Into after this 1 month no ye be go 24 hours. And no ye be obi a be huni jinabia. Be first na eba no 6 to 6 ne dia kra no with consideration tini etimi adwuma be say no 24 hours na mu yade.
A tearful Fatima dressed a collapse of her business following her latest loss.
Bia mami 10 cartons, mami 20 cartons no. Omu nyina omo jaiba. Inti enam no egu wasa dumso na ache no. Dumso na ache no. Inti enam ni nyina aye mere. Aye wo say ye kotugu. If say nine way say generator betimi afani say 40,000 Ghana cedis. Enye ska ketewa. Say wa hu. Inti ene bankers akasa be aban no so hu ye mobo. Nya say adwuma no ye ntimi nya bi.
Fatima may painfully dispose of her stocks which go bad. But some customers complain they end up with rotten products.
Fish, bet me up to over Bachina, Nina at it na say. Over to Nasa, over China at it na etuntum. On so problem I will face and own to me in Casse. Say, I was watching a sa.
Other homekeepers say they have no choice but to cook just enough for a day so they don't have to worry about storage.
I say fresh fish. I say
businesses such as a local eatery Heavy Do say they also have to adopt the same strategy.
And we are so Yanto Bibri took a Caribbean Sabaya and and say, I bet him there, Juman, and Nana says, I bet him like Kung Fu. I did a brand that day. No, I use someone as I cut the bitch feeding. I'm an I be what they be. Intimidate I didn't be.
But Auntie B, who also operates a food joint, say not being able to store food is a major challenge for them.
I just say no. Say I do my say anopa na makoko store. Some speak of Fanama Begua, a best same human. Tianopa no. She tap my bay human. Sami will cook a fast and Beco store. I go Fanam, a bay human. Today be an human at Triaquetri. Tiamedumana basa. Ti do so many and acquire a hard doing papa.
But not all cold store operators or caterers can be trusted to discuss their rotten stock or not use them to cook for their customers, which will mean that the relevant authorities will have to monitor operators and ensure consumers don't end up with food poison from consuming food that should have ended up in the bin rather than their plates. Etonam Say, Joy News.
Amazing. You see the extent that Dumso goes. It goes beyond you not having electricity to do your ironing and things like that. Get ready to share experiences with me, though, on 030221169102. Not right now. I'll tell you when to give me a call. But with me, to get the conversation going is Ebenezer Kofi Esel, his principal regulatory officer with the Food and Drugs Authority. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, my sister.
This is one that you should be very concerned about. Are you getting reports of stories like these?
Certainly. We've had situations with consumer complaints where, like we saw in the video, in the film or whatever, the situation where a food vendor complained that she bought some fish and she realized the fish was bad, she couldn't use it and all that. And so you have complaints of that nature coming in. And so we're getting concerned because whenever preservation is compromised, then you are giving room to food safety concerns. And certainly, when fish goes bad, it comes with all the problems associated with the hygiene or the safety of the food that people are going to prepare the fish with. And so, yes, we are equally concerned with what is going on. With the coastal operations in particular, I recall, I see we knew, it's always better that you have sort of a standby generator set. But that is only to augment the ECG supply. And because of the cost of running the generator sets. And you realize that there's a proliferation of these cold stores. Now they are coming very close to us in our homes and all that, which is a very good thing. So that you don't have to travel long distances to buy your fish and frozen foods and all that. And so most of them, until recently, did not make any investment in the area of standby generators, but we've done very well.
Yeah, but realistically, if you operate in Malata, for instance, can you keep a generator overnight?
That's why I said that. The generators were supposed to augment the supply from the ECG, from the national grid. And so if now that is going to be the main source of power, then that is going to be a source of worry to them because it comes with a cost. So the issue is not about running the generators. The issue is about the cost of running. The generators will be there, but the cost of running the generators will have some negative impact. One, it will mean that they will have to pass on the cost of generating power to the consumer. And you will understand that. I'm not a marketer anymore. I'm not into the economics of this, but you realize that the market will also have a ceiling to which they can afford to pay for a particular goods or services. And so you cannot keep on increasing the cost of a kilogram of fish and say you're passing on to consumers. But certainly if we are looking for the safety of the food, then I think that is where that is the only option, that you have to run the generators and then increase the cost of the fish so that consumers, it will be better for us to have safe food than compromise safe food because we want to save costs.
In the meantime, we know that not all cold store operators are doing this.
Yeah, and that is the reason why we're having these complaints. Because one, they run the generators for a period, thinking that, the temperature of the fish will be upheld for a period of time, expecting power from the national grid to come in. Then somehow this fails to come in. And so the temperatures of the fish keep increasing because these should be frozen -18 or below. But you have a situation, by the time they come in the following morning, the fish is thawed. And when you have continuous freezing and thawing, freezing and thawing, freezing and thawing, it affects the quality of the fish. And the situation, the quality is not only compromised, but then the safety also becomes an issue.
And we end up eating it. So I guess my big question, and I'm hoping to find some solid answers to what do we do?
What do we do? The most probably expensive path is to, as it were, get generator sets. That's the most expensive part. You may also have to cut down.
How many people can, first of all, afford to even buy generators? We will have to do that
if we are interested in the safety of the food that we are eating. That's the most important thing to do.
Is there some kind of...
Well, you decide not to go in for frozen food at all. If you think it will be compromised. The volumes of frozen fish or frozen meat that you are buying to sell at any given time, if you're a small coastal operator, then don't go and buy, don't take a lot of stock. Take stocks that you can sell within the day. So that if by the close of day you are done with it, you have to go in again, because the bigger coast stores, when you go to Tema Fishing, Harbour and all those areas, yes, they have what do you call it, huge generator sets that they use in powering their coast stores. The problem is with the smaller ones. And so the smaller ones will have to reduce the volumes of fish that they are stocking at the moment. That is one surest way of doing that. Okay? And again, we also want the buyers, the consumers who go to buy these things. Forget it. Somebody has compromised the holding temperature of the fish. The fish has gone bad. You are the one who is going to buy this and then prepare food with it. You need to understand the quality parameter or characteristics of any frozen food. So if it is meat and if it is fish, you need to know if it is going bad, how does it look like? And so that you don't also waste your money buy this bad food. Eventually, it will be better we destroy the fish at the coastal level rather than bring it home, come and prepare food with it, sell it to unsuspecting consumers, and then they eat the food and eventually fall ill. So let us lose the fish rather than lose consumers.
If I suspect a certain coastal operator is stocking fish that is not good or meats, can I report to the FDA and what happens?
Well, when the fish is not good and there is, we find it out. First and foremost, we have to destroy the fish. Okay? If it is not sold. If it is sold, we find a way of bringing this to the attention of consumers. And then we do a product recall, especially if it is from a bigger cold store and it goes to the smaller ones, because you have middlemen in between. So the bigger cold stores, they sell to the smaller ones, they retail them. And so the wholesale operation, the retail operations will have to be coordinated and then withdraw this consignment of fish from trade. But the most important thing that we want to do is that the buyers and consumers will have to be very careful, very cautious when you are buying frozen foods these days, because of the possibility that some of the fish or the frozen food products might have been compromised in terms of their holding temperatures. And once the temperature of the frozen food goes up, then you give room to microorganisms to thrive, because the increased temperature brings the food temperature into what we call the danger zone. And within the danger zone, you have a lot of pathogenic microorganisms increasing, and that can cause a lot of diseases to consumers.
So what's the long-term solution? Is there a certain conversation going on between either the power generators or ECG and the FDA? Because this should be your headache as well.
Well, our major headache with this has to do with consumers buying unwholesome food to eat.
Yeah, but what is making it unwholesome?
What is making it unwholesome goes beyond the knowledge of the FDA. We do not control power generation. What we can only do is advise our stakeholders, who are the coastal operators, that you need to understand the business in which you are in. It will be safer for us to say that if you do not have the generator, then don't stock. You'll be better off, and you will save consumer lives if you don't stock and sell bad fish or bad meat.
Sometimes when people are looking for money, they don't care.
See, that is where we will come in and then prosecute you. That is where the enforcement comes in.
So if the small coast store in my area, if I realize that the fish they are selling has gone bad, but they're still selling it, can I report it to you?
If you don't get the Food and Drugs Authority, you can report to any police station. People don't seem to appreciate the fact that that is also...
The police would deal with that matter too?
Certainly. Police has jurisdiction over public safety. Let's understand first and foremost. And so if you go to buy fish and the fish is bad, the best thing to do is to bring it to the attention of the coastal operator, the one who retailed the fish to you, and tell the person that the fish that I bought have gone bad. Can you take it back and let me have my money? Okay, when it comes to food safety, things like things sold that are not refundable or returnable, it has nothing, because you are dealing with human life. And so you knew it, that what you were selling to the consumer was bad. The fish had already gone bad. Yet you went ahead and sold the fish to the person. Okay? And so you take advantage of the person, sell the thing to him or her. She takes it home, finds out that the fish is bad, brings it back, and you say, I cannot take it back. And so you make a fool of the person. That is not proper, because the law says that if you sell something unwholesome food to a consumer, the consumer may be aware or may not be aware. Once you knew it and were able to establish that you did know that a fish had gone bad, but you went ahead and sold it, then we take it on. And so the advice to these coastal operators is that if you don't have the generator sets, you may have to reduce your stocks. If you can't reduce your stocks, you don't have the generator set, it will be better you keep your capital. I don't my heart out to
the woman who lost 50,000.
Yes, 50,000 Ghana cedis worth of,
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. You see, if she knew what was happening or she understood the situation,
no, but
probably.
But you see, sometimes you may be convinced that you understand the situation because there's a timetable out. You're supposed to go off 24 hours. You have light or electricity for 12 hours.
If my memory serves me right, yes, a timetable may be there. But we also told that even though we have the timetable, in the event that we do not have to supply, we will still take it off. And so it's a very dicey situation.
But that's not good. That's not good at all.
Unfortunately, I don't.
That's not good. It's not good for businesses.
None of us is working for ECG, and it's very difficult for us to. I'm looking at the food safety aspect of it. That when we have situations of this nature, and preservation of food becomes difficult, you have to strategize. And so the strategies that we want to recommend, one is that reduce your stock. Sell what or buy stock what you can only sell at any given time. Two, you, the retailer, make sure that you have adequate control over your power. That will preserve the fish. And so if you do not have ECG supplies and you cannot afford the generator, then don't even stock at all.
Wow.
Yes. That's the unfortunate part of it. You see, when you're dealing with food safety, it is not about profit, it's not about business.
I'm just looking at, will somebody whose sole business is this, would the person be looking at the fact that, okay, I don't have a generator and ECG is not giving me enough power, so I will not stock at all, I will not sell at all? That's not,
you will look at it, you will look at it from a business point of view, okay? I'm looking at it from the public health point of view.
But how many people will look at it from the public health point of view?
Well, that is for the economists to decide. But as far as I'm in training, as far as I'm a public health person, my concern is, you see, when there is food crisis or food security issues crop up, the fact that there is food security issue doesn't mean that anything should be put before consumers to eat. Okay? That is why the law even frowns on people who give out food as ration when the food is not wholesome. The fact that we are hungry doesn't mean you should fill your tongue with anything.
Let me just quickly announce the phone lines. Maybe there are some questions I haven't asked. I'm going to give you the opportunity, and if you have experiences with food poisoning or anything of the sort, just share it with me this morning. 0302-211-69102, 0302-211-69102. You can hit it really hard at Mr. SL, he'll take it. So how about the individuals? I have small fish meat in my fridge. How should I keep it?
Well, we call it doomsday. It's affecting everyone. Okay, so what it means is that we all have to strategize. One, don't stock. If you have a stock, make sure you consume that as quickly as possible. Don't open the freezer if you don't need to open the freezer. At least when you have the 12 hours power supply, the fish or the meat, the freezer gets chilled, right? And then you can keep that chilled condition over a period of time. Okay? So if I have just a handful of fish or meat that I can use for a period. In fact, what is happening will mean that we may have to visit or go to the supermarket or the market very often because you can't buy more than what
you could consume at a go.
Yeah. Okay, so that is one of the things that we need to do. You see, we understand what is happening, but our major concern is that don't blame your inability to preserve your life on the fact that somebody is not supplying with electricity. At the end of the day, who suffers? Okay? At the end of the day, who suffers? I've lost a washing machine as a result of doing so.
You could sue someone, you know.
Well, but if I decide to do that, okay, But if it had not been a washing machine, but had been food poisoning, you could sue someone. But listen, life is gone. You've lost it. And so the most important thing is that whilst we are discussing or we are crying and trying to get things done right, give us more electricity, we are not having them, don't play with your life. Make sure that you are buying food right. Make sure the frozen foods are safe. Okay, I hear people say that because of these things, they have even decided not to even eat fish and frozen fish and things like that. Any longer because they cannot preserve them.
I am very careful now. I love tilapia, but now I can't buy tilapia.
The frozen one?
No, from outside. I say
because
one that
it
is
comes
done,
frozen.
because then I don't know how it was kept before they grilled it. And I buy fried yam. I chew the fried yam alone with no fish.
Why?
Because I don't know where the fish is coming from again. So is this what we're supposed to be doing?
Well,
because we can't really trust the source where the fish is.
You take desperate measures when we are in crisis. And so probably these are the things that we need to do now. Because I usually want to shop once a month. Okay, so I stock. Now I can't do that any longer. Because I cannot continuously, power the house on a generator set. It's very expensive to do that. And so I have to strategize. When we are in crisis, we strategize and we take desperate measures.
But why do I have a feeling that the FDA should be doing a lot more than we're concerned with the public health bit of it?
No,
but,
this has nothing. Electricity supply is nothing to do with the FDA. Our major concern is that, look, we are not getting enough power. Currently, we're doing some work, and we're visiting the cold stores to look at the conditions of the fish there. I'm concerned about what you're going to buy in the cold store. Should I allow the cold store operator, because we feel her loss, so we should allow her to sell what they call bad fish to you because you want to support her? Is that what Ghanaians want to do? No. At any point in time, somebody will have to suffer one way or the other when we're in crisis. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. And so business gone bad. That is the only way we can explain it. Okay. If anything, let's blame it on inadequate supply of power. But as far as public health is concerned, we will not compromise on the enforcement bit of it. We will ensure that the public is supplied with what is safe. And we will also advise consumers that you need to be circumspect when you go out there buying. Watch what you buy. If the fish is bad, there are various things that you can look at for in a fish. Sunken eyes, and you have, what do you call it? The smell of the fish, the gills gone darkened and all that. These are all signs that you can see. But I want to also remind people that some of our women are playing smart on us. They know you go looking for the gills, and so they are coloring the gills. Okay, we have situations where the gills are colored because when the fish is going bad, the gills become darker than, it loses the bright, brightly red coloring. And so they are adding some coloring to the gills.
But how are you able to detect when you go
no, you open the operculum, you open the jaws, what we call the operculum, and you can see the gills. And then when the gills are getting dark, then you know that the fish is going bad. But beyond the gills, like I said, the eyes, the flesh, the smell will all give you some indications that the fish is going bad. But there are those who would deliberately go and also buy this. Some of our food vendors, okay, and they will tell you, I had a situation, so it's a kakadru, it's the one, that's a etchum or dryer, the fantasy.
Okay.
The kakadru one, etchum or no dry kakra, smelling in our boko off. Trying to tell you that do something to mask the spoils.
Like they can repair it.
No. You can't do any repairs of that nature. If even you destroy, and the funny thing is that you end up frying the fish beyond the state where the nutrients are intact. And so virtually you are chewing or eating charcoal because the fish has been, what do you call it, fried, too dry, and there are no juices, there are no nutrients in them again. We are not interested in feeling atomic. We want the nutrients. And so don't go and buy the bad fish and fry it hard and dry so that you sell it to people, they don't get the smell, but they also don't get the taste of it.
What do you do to chop bar operators and food vendors that, you get who are using bad either meats or fish? And then what would you do to the cold store operator who is also stocking and selling bad fish or meat? But let me just quickly take one phone call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. What's your name, please?
My name is Samuel from Dansoma.
All right, Samuel, let's hear you.
Yeah, I just want to contribute to the program. Can the FD man tell us if they can strategize also by putting deep freezers with generators at various districts and stakeholders who have to come and freeze their fishes pay some affordable amount so that they can also be in business?
Okay, this is a smart one. I don't know. Would you invest in something like that?
The Ministry of Health doesn't give us what do you call it, budget.
Yeah, but you have ways of generating your own.
Local government can do that. You see, local government has a lot of things that they can do to generate funds. It's not because of the funds, okay? If it is about if a local government, each local government wants to have a coastal that will be used by all the fish. I mean, go to various markets. Who operates the markets? The local government. So local government decide to put up market, what do you call it, cold stores in the markets. And if you're a frozen food operator, you just use that facility. And then they can then run the generators, and then the cost is shared by individual cold store. Like this woman, for example, it is a bigger cold store. Instead of her having that small unit, there's a bigger cold store. At the end of the day, she knows where her stock is. She knows her stock numbers and all that. She buys from them. She transports them to the smaller cold store. And that's what she goes to retail. So the advice we even give to, the problem again is the distance. Okay, here in Accra, you might think that it is easier to do. But in some districts, it's very far. Okay, so you will not be able to say that we are keeping the fish in this cold store at this. By the time you even transport the fish, okay, so it's already told.
So someone's suggestion is something that the FDA can never ever do.
No. We cannot afford to buy fridges and deep freezers and then distribute them
with generators on standby.
We would rather recommend the local government to take up that responsibility. Yes.
Okay, so what happens to persons who are caught using bad fish?
Well, if you caught using, it's the same thing. That you are putting public health at risk, and so if you were caught using bad fish, bad meat to prepare food, the law will deal with you. Okay, and part of the investigation will extend probably to where you also bought these things from. But we need to establish that you didn't buy it already bad. And that because you can buy good fish, bring it to your facility, fail to hold it properly, and it goes bad in your facility. We don't blame it on the coastal.
So you do your investigations.
We do the investigations. We intensify the public education. We are letting food vendors understand the situation in which we are in, and therefore every one of us will have to take note of these things. I would prefer that the retailers, especially when you go to Bayema, one of the coast stores here in Accra. I'm using that. I'm not advertising.
Yeah, because it's a big one.
Yes. You realize you have smaller retailers. Who retail fish and frozen products in their yard. All of these people have their stock in the cold store. They can afford to run the generator and then pass on the cost to, and it becomes a shared cost. In that sense, we all pay just a little more. Okay? And it's so negligible that you might not necessarily have to pass it on to the consumer. The problem is with those who are running a 20-footer container cold stores in the markets and things like that, because we have a lot of them now scattered all over the place. They are those who are going through or they are facing these challenges the more because of the fact that, one, they cannot rely on the ECG, and two, they cannot afford to provide their own, run the generator sets 24/7 and all that. And that is what is
yeah. Mr. Esau, just before you go, can I sue the FDA because it failed to do the proper checks on the chop bar that I normally would use?
Well, I'm not a legal person, but if you want to sue us, yeah, then you can. We can be sued. We can be sued seriously
for failing to do the necessary checks.
You need to prove it that we failed to do the necessary checks.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Ebenezer Kofi SL is a principal regulatory officer with the Food and Drugs Authority. Very good education. Please take notes of all the tidbits that you've been given today is really, really important. It's not a joking matter at all. Sometimes you may take it lightly, but it could kill you. Food poisoning comes with these things, so just take note of it. That will be it for my banner this morning. AM Talk with Roland Walker is up next here on the AM Show.